Hey, Lawrence here with High Intensity Business. This is a throwback and valuable exclusive membership episode with Luke Carlson. It's called How to Keep Your Clients Excited About Their Workouts. Luke is CEO and founder of Discover Strength, one of the fastest growing hit businesses on the planet. This podcast is going to teach you how to keep clients excited, generate more referrals, and improve retention. This is truly one of my favorite membership podcasts. And just before we get into the episode, if you are a hit business owner of any kind, studio owner, virtual trainer, personal trainer, I invite you to join our high intensity business community and get the Client Generator Guide, a simple way to get 10 or more clients every month without spending money on ads. You also get community, courses, and live masterclasses to help you grow your hit business. Join in August and you'll get an exclusive bonus video with Luke Carlson on how to maximize your studio earning potential. Join now over at highintensitybusines.com/school. That's SKOOL. Or just click the link wherever you're watching or listening to this, and I'll see you on the inside. Luke, welcome back to the membership.
Thanks for having me, Lawrence. Always a pleasure.
Great to have you. So we were talking a while back in terms of all of the challenges you see in people you speak to in hit industry or people that attend things like the Real Hit Experience, which was great because I remember reaching back out to you saying, Luke, we must create content around this. This would be so helpful for people. And one of those was one of the common challenge you see is high intensity training business owners struggling to keep clients engaged or interested. And you've actually had personal experience with hearing from clients saying they're getting bored with the Big Five protocol and a 10-10 cadence and nothing else. And that dogma around that may be quite destructive and not helping businesses in the long term. So do you want to just start off by talking about your experience and where you've heard this being talked about?
Well, I think my experience it's twofold. It comes from our own studios and trying to pay attention to what fosters long-term retention. So this is asking customers what fosters long-term retention and actually having a dialogue with them, and then using Net Promoter System or Net Promoter Score to constantly get that feedback and make sense of it. And then it comes from just talking to so many studio operators from around the country about what's working and what's not working for them. And then as an interesting side note, what I've found to be so fun for the last few years is we have so many clients that when they're traveling, they visit other studios, or they're what we would call in Minnesota a snowbird, and they spend their winter months in a warmer climate and train somewhere else. And that's a great opportunity for us to learn about what we're doing well or what we're not doing well relative to another business they're training with. So one of the themes that's continually emerged from kind of all three of those buckets is I have to have a compelling reason to come back into the studio for my workout, and I can get bored with the process. And so we've taken that to understand that, okay, so this umbrella of evidence-based exercise is actually pretty massive. And there's a lot of things we can do under that umbrella. And maybe we should look at all of the tools, all of the protocols that we can use that still are evidence-based to provide for this training experience. And that's what we've tried to do as a company. And I've just watched a lot of companies struggle, and a lot of studios have poor client retention because of it. So it's really one of my favorite topics. I think it's my favorite topic in understanding high intensity training and high intensity training businesses. And I'll just say, Lawrence, I mean, if I had a dime for every time a studio owner told me that, hey, we have the workout, some marketing help and some business help. And my answer invariably, whether I say it or not, is, no, you don't need any marketing help. You need to figure out the workout. And that is so hard for me to say because it sounds so arrogant, and it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's coming from a place of, you cannot outmarket a product or a service or an experience that needs to be upgraded. And it frankly needs to be upgraded in our industry. And that's coming from a guy who's an absolute fan of all things high intensity training, all things Arthur Jones, all things, that we talk about or you talk about in the podcast. I'm into all of it, but I don't think it's conducive to growing our businesses. And let me make sure I'm clear on that. I think high intensity training workouts are the best way to grow a fitness business. any type of fitness business or personal training business. I just think we can't be dogmatic or we can't be narrow in how we actually apply those principles.
Yeah, this is a great start. So you feel like, and I've kind of seen this play out a little bit online and in conversations, is there's a fair amount of ego wrapped up in it. This is how we do things. We do these classic high intensity training protocols. We're not any more flexible than that. And that's a really important to us, and we're not going to change. And you think that that person is really getting in their own way, essentially.
I think so, yes, but I don't want to discount someone's conviction and their belief in doing things a certain way. So if you have a conviction or belief that this is how it needs to be done, and that's what gives you a feeling of purpose and accomplishment when you rest your head on your pillow that evening, if you feel like this is the only way you can feel good about what you do, then you have to do it. But for me, or for everybody, that definition is going to be a little bit different. So for me, I want to make sure that we're doing things in a safe manner first. I mean, first, do no harm. And then number two, I want to make sure it's evidence-based. I don't want to tell a client something that frankly I made up or that another fit person made up, or it's strength training folklore, that it's actually evidence-based. And then the other filters get into, is it efficient? And efficient doesn't just mean time efficient. It means biomechanically efficient. That's my definition of efficient is, are we actually asking the musculature to do what it's intended to do? So if we say, is it an efficient chest exercise? Well, it better involve horizontal adduction of the humerus. So we can go through the process of looking at all the different conceivable exercises that involve horizontal adduction of the humerus and find one that involves more horizontal adduction of the humerus. And that would be a more biomechanically efficient approach to training the chest, which is, probably eliminates a barbell bench press because there's less adduction of the humerus. It probably eliminates chest press as the most biomechanically efficient way to train the chest. So I think efficiency is kind of a third filter, but the first two definitely being safety and is it evidence-based?
So I've heard some people say it's not the workout that's the issue, because this is the thing. They might attribute poor retention in their business, if they've even measured it. And you've highlighted before that it's something that's not well measured in the industry or in the HIIT industry very well. And those that perhaps do recognize that they might have poor retention, or at least it needs to be improved, won't always attribute it to the workout. Again, maybe because their ego is so wrapped up in that. And instead we'll say it's down to other things such as, the client's not educated well enough. If they were more educated, if we did education cards like DS do after every session or first 10 sessions or whatever it is, or something like that, then, the protocol can remain the same and the client will be just as interested and engaged and they'll be retained. Do you disagree with that? You feel like the workout needs to have some novelty?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, I think education is the cornerstone. Anytime we lose a client, for 13 years, we lose a client and it always comes back in our discussion. If they only understood, if they knew, if they really were educated, you would never lose them. Like, I just think about if I could get them to understand this the way one of my loved ones do, the way my family understands it, the way any of my significant others understand it, they would never ever leave, because this is the way. This is the way to exercise. But I also think that within that way, the way is broader than we realize. And I think we all appreciate a little bit of variation, a little bit of variety, how we actually experience the workout. And we are in a environment of increased competition where our target market, so all of your listeners' target market, they're exposed to so many different options. And I think right now the target market is not necessarily searching for strength training. They're searching for what I would call a sweat sesh. Okay. The idea that you go into a studio or boutique and just bust your butt for 30 minutes or an hour is kind of what the consumer is looking for. And they don't look at it as they need strength training. They just need to get their butt kicked and need to sweat for 30 minutes to an hour. So they may get bored with your studio and go to a spin class. They may get bored with your studio and go to a bar class. They may get bored with your studio and go to a boot camp class. So when you lose a client, that client is not just not training with you anymore. They are training somewhere else they just jump to a different studio or boutique. And that studio or boutique is nothing like yours. They're doing something completely different. So you could argue that that's education, but I would also say that we should meaningfully and thoughtfully incorporate variety along the way. And the other question I would have is, why would you not incorporate the variety? I mean, that's not a sacrifice in what you're doing. It all works. And we have absolutely no evidence to say that one thing works better than the other thing. So why would you do one thing? I just don't think anyone's talking about that. Like, how did we get stuck on doing one thing or a specific set of exercises? There's literally no evidence to suggest that that's meaningful, valuable, beneficial. How did this become kind of the way?
Awesome. So specifically, how you've obviously mentioned that so long as you're operating under the HIIT principles, there's an enormous amount of flexibility in terms of what we can do in high intensity training. But I'd just be curious, what are the main ways in which you have changed up the stimulus within your personal training operation in order to keep that, to increase that engagement and interest?
Okay, so I'm going to give you just a whole bunch of them, but I also want to say that for me is I will incorporate anything that we don't think is an improvement. Like there's plenty of studio owners that do this and do it well, but I'm just not into it. Like, we're not going to do TRX straps. And believe me, you could use a TRX strap and actually perform a pretty productive exercise. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to try to use tools just to show that we're capable of using variety and that we're open-minded and that we can, I think the rest of the world is maybe using TRX in an ineffective way. Could we use TRX in an effective way? And I know that you can. I mean, I did a workout a couple of years ago with James Steele and James Fisher at the university at Solent, and they had me do like a TRX row. And it was a really, really challenging exercise. We're not going to use it in any of our studios. I just don't think it serves to be an improvement. So I am dogmatic in some ways, and that there's just things that I'm just going to be closed-minded to. I just don't want to incorporate variety for the sake of variety. I have to look at it as, meaningful variation to the stimulus. So for us, it's movement speed would be one of them. Okay. So we use a 2-4 movement speed. We use a 10-10 movement speed, a 30-30-30 movement speed. We use a 5-5 movement speed. We use a 5-5-5 movement speed. We use a 2-8-4 movement speed. We use a 60-60 movement speed, where we'll do just a 60-second concentric, 60-second eccentric. So a variation of movement speeds. We'll do just different partial ranges of motion. We'll do multiple set protocols that are essentially cluster sets. So 6 reps, rest for 10 seconds, 5 reps, rest for 10 seconds, 4 reps, rest for 10 seconds, 3 reps, rest for 10 seconds, down to just 1 rep. We'll do go to failure, rest for 30 seconds, go to failure again, rest for 30 seconds, go to failure again, trying to total 30 total reps. So usually that breaks down to about 17 reps, then another 8-9 reps, then another 5 reps, kind of depending on the person's fiber type. We'll do breakdown sets or drop sets. We'll do heavy breakdown sets where, hey, the goal is 4 reps. Get 3, 4, 5 reps, fail. We'll break it down, try to do another 4 reps, break it down. We'll try to do another 4 reps. So that's 12 reps. We've just broken it down 3 times. We'll do breakdown sets where you're doing a very high repetition range. So we'll do a 30 rep breakdown set. So you're targeting 12 repetitions. When you fail, we're going to break it down significantly. Maybe you crank out 8 to 10 more reps. We'll break it down again until you get to 30 repetitions. So breakdown sets and drop sets of all kinds, pre-exhaust, post-exhaust. We'll sequence exercises that are not by definition pre-exhaust. So technically, leg extension to leg press is not a true pre-exhaust, but we'll do sequences or bracketed exercises where we're doing multiple exercises in a row. So we're getting beyond just the machines or the equipment that we have, and we want to make sure, are we good with about 50 other body weight or free weight exercises that we think we can really incorporate well. So it's the actual variation of the exercise itself. So it's the number of routines that a client's working through. So at a given time, we're going to design not just sometimes just an A and a B routine, but sometimes we'll rotate through an A, B, a C, a D routine. And you're training twice a week and you're cycling through all these routines. After 10 weeks, we're always going to change up your routines. So you do not do the same workout to the end of time. You only see this routine 10 times at most, and then we're changing it up. With all new clients, you only do a routine 5 times and then you change it up because we want to showcase that, hey, it's not just these machines that we're using. We have other machines. We have other, tools that we can use. And we want to showcase those early on in the client's training experience.
This episode is brought to you by Barvik GmbH. Building a successful high-intensity training business requires top-quality exercise machines and a reliable source of spare parts. Sourcing Medix machines known for their exceptional design and performance can be challenging, forcing you to rely on the secondary market. Fortunately, Barvik GmbH, based in Hamburg, Germany, offers a solution. Egger Barvik manufactures German-engineered Medix machines in India with innovative enhancements compared to their US counterparts, providing an alternative to the secondary market. Eggert is 38 years in the fitness industry and has a wealth of experience. Eggert sells a bigger variety of Medix machines, 35 different types, including rowing back, shoulder rotation, neck and shoulder, super forearm, multi-exercise tower, hip and torso, flexion left and right lying, tibialis, chest press, torso arm, pullover, arm cross, and more. The machines are built higher for easy movement with a pallet jack, have zinc-plated weight plates, have flat belt with steel core instead of carbon fiber, and adjustable 90mm rubber feet. These features, including the new leg extension with adjustable big roller pads and a redesigned cam, make Barvik GmbH's Medix machines perfect for growing your hip business. So to get started, number 1, visit medx.eu/contact. Number 2, contact the team with your specific needs. And number 3, select the machines to grow your business. Visit medx.eu/contact today and give your hip business a huge boost with Medix machines by Eggert Barvik from Barvik GmbH.
I guess I'll stop there and you can ask other questions or requests that I go in a particular direction. But those are some of the ways that we can create variation. And I guess maybe another really important one is what we do at the point of muscle failure. So when someone's at concentric failure, there's an infinite number of things that we can do at muscle failure. Are we doing a standard assisted rep? Are we just training the concentric failure? Are we doing like a breakdown set, like I said? Are we helping on the concentric and extending the eccentric? Are we doing a concentric hold? Are we finding the position of peak muscle torque and doing an extended hold, the position of peak muscle torque? There's just a million different things we can do at concentric failure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just to add a little bit more color to this, many of the members would have seen this, but there's a wonderful podcast and PDF from David Geschneider, which is VP of Operations for Discover Strength, talking about the entire personal training experience. So Luke just talked about excellence at failure, but that particular PDF and podcast covers all the other pillars of a great client experience, which is really a nice add-on to what we're talking about here. And I think it's really essential learning. Really interesting what you said there in terms of changing it every 10 weeks. I was going to ask you, think questions around that. But in terms of like knowing when, so I'm very interested in your programming approach. So you mentioned there, you've different routines. I dropped you an email, Luke. I don't expect you to have seen that yet about, the rough kind of templates you might use at DS for training people. But I'm just curious, when do you throw in these one or more of these advanced techniques or other protocols? Other protocols, not advanced techniques. So, if you start someone off, for instance, and they start off coming in and they're doing a particular exercise on a 2-4 cadence, when do you know to change that and experiment with the others?
Yeah, great question. We start with it right away. So when we design a workout from day one, so Lawrence, you're coming in for your first ever workout, it's probably going to be 10, 11 exercises. Leg extension is going to be 10-10. Leg curl might be a 2-4 cadence. Leg press might be a 2-10 cadence. Then we're going to do a tibia exercise that might be a 2-4 cadence. Then we'll do manual resistance for your posterior deltoid. Manual resistance, we generally don't vary the cadence. Then you do a chest press. Let's do a 2-10 cadence on that. Let's do a pull down with a dual poly style. So you're alternating arms. So every exercise, we're just going to assign a protocol because frankly, we know all the protocols produce the same results. So we have tremendous autonomy in how we want to perform that particular exercise. So we don't say, hey, for the first round of workouts, you're doing a 2-4 cadence, then we'll progress to something else. you could do that, but we incorporate all of the different protocols, or I should say ways of performing the repetition right from the beginning.
Why? Why do you do that right from the beginning?
I guess my mindset is always, why not? We don't have a preferred protocol. There's no protocol that's been shown to work better than a different protocol. So why would we not demonstrate to our client that we can do all of these different things?
Got it. Okay. So it's really showcasing what you're capable of and what the client can experience, especially if it's during their introductory workout when you're really trying to sell them the service.
Yeah, and we try not to overcomplicate it, but frankly, it's not complicated. Lift it for 10 seconds, lower it for 10 seconds. Lift it for 2 seconds, lower it for 4 seconds. And we want a client to know that, my goodness, our tool belt is just loaded with different tools. And if they train with us for the next 10 years, we just have a ton of stuff that we can share with them. And it's not, and I probably can't emphasize this enough, it's not variation for the sake of variation. It's not variety for the sake of variety or novelty. It's variation because there's no reason not to have variation, because it all works. And I think we can, just like you have variation in what you eat. You don't have to eat the same meal every single day. My goodness, that's coming from a guy who almost eats the same thing every day. But there's no evidence to say that we have to do the same thing. And somewhere along the line in high intensity training, there was a thought that we should do similar things every workout. I just have never seen any evidence to suggest that that's true. And I know humans don't like that. Humans don't do that in other aspects of their life. So.
I wonder if there's an aspect of it when you change the protocol in terms of changing the cadences or the style of exercise, that it has some kind of cognitive health effect. Because I know that, I think I remember speaking to Teresa Ambrose, Leo Ambrose, and just learning through my own research that, acquiring new skills does improve cognitive health, right? When you're going through that beginner phase of learning a new skill. So maybe there's something to that, when you are providing some novelty, maybe you're also enhancing that aspect of the experience as well, perhaps.
Very well could be the case. Yeah, very well could be the case.
Yeah. So, okay. So another question about this then. So, okay. So they go through their initial workout and they'll have different cadences depending on the exercise to also showcase the variation that you offer there. But then how do you know when to change that? So how do you decide, okay, in workout 2 or workout 3 or workout 4, we're going to try a 30-30-30 chin up, or we're going to try fill in the blank protocol. So how do you just determine that? What sort of flexibility and freedom do you give trainers around that too?
We always change it at 10 routines. Okay. So
Right.
you have 10 sessions. With the exception of a brand new client, they just do it 5 times. So workout 1 5 times, workout 2 5 times. They're going back and forth to Trino. Then we change. The reason we change them early on is we're afraid of losing a client early on because we haven't demonstrated enough of, enough variety or variation or tools in the tool belt. And so we want to switch it up and not have them get bored right away. After someone gets started with us, then we'll have them stick to 10 workouts on a particular routine, because frankly, we just want to see progression over a little bit longer period of time. But every trainer has the autonomy to do what we call a variety workout in the mix of their normal sessions. So instead of using the workout card at all that day, you would bring the workout card with you and said, hey, we're going to get away from the card. We're going to do a variety workout today. And you'll just do something completely different off of the workout card. And if a client maybe shows up 5 minutes late, we'll say, hey, let's just do a variety workout today and just change it up. A client's had a horrendously stressful day or travel. Then we say, hey, forget your workout. We're going to do something different. If we sense somehow the client's bored with their particular workout, we may say, we're going to do a variety workout today. And of course, that variety workout could be one of a million things. There's just so many different formats that we use. We could say, hey, let's just use an all negative only workout today. Let's use a metabolic workout where we're moving quicker between exercises and doing only multi-joint exercises. There's just a number of different things we can do from a variety standpoint. Now, I prefer sticking with the workout card and recording because I really like progress and I like the pressure to try to improve on what you did last time. But sometimes that variety workout can be, our clients love when they get a variety workout and get off of the card. Let me give you an example. Next week is Halloween, October 31st. And every one-on-one client that we have, will walk in the door and they will put their hand in a little jack-o'-lantern and they will pull out a Halloween themed variety workout. And that will be their workout for the day. So they'll pull it out and that's the workout that they're going to do. And they all have a different name. And all of our trainers will wear costumes and you don't even know what the workout's going to be until you pull it out. And like one workout I'm thinking of is called Count Dracula. And every protocol is a slow protocol. So it's got some type of count to it. I think about 15 different workouts that we have in there that the client doesn't know what to expect. Now, of course, it's all the same principles and so forth. So we're not doing anything that's weird, that we don't believe in, that we don't think is efficacious in terms of being evidence-based.
I love that. That's brilliant. I could do an entire podcast with you, Luke, just on your Halloween, your seasonal workouts. That sounds really fun. And I'd love to have been there when your team come up with all the names for the different workouts. And I'm sure they've all got names related to being incredibly scary and intimidating.
Exactly.
So we may have to do something else on that. In fact, I did want to talk to you about approaches to managing the business during seasons, Christmas, Halloween's, how you think about celebrating those different events. But we'll do that separately. So okay, so a couple of challenging questions quickly. Some people might be listening to this going, that's okay for you to say, Luke, Discover Strength have so many machines that it's easy to provide so much variety. I feel like I only have, let's say, the big three because I don't have the budget yet. And I feel like I can't offer the same variety with my clients. So what would you say to someone who says something like that?
Well, that's even more of a reason to incorporate the variety in the protocol and what's happening in terms of order of exercises and what's happening at muscle failure. When I was a strength coach in the NFL, we had more equipment. I mean, I thought everybody had that much equipment, but we must have had 100 Nautilus and Hammer Strength and Medix machines. Literally, we had 18 different chest presses. We had 3 leg extensions, 3 leg curls, 6 leg presses. We had everything, every pulling movement you can imagine, every pulling movement ever made by Hammer Strength. We had 3 different pullovers. So you got variation by training on different machines. Well, when I got out of that environment, I realized, okay, it's not conceivable to always have this much equipment. How else are you going to get variation? Well, you could do the same pullover and you could do it 100 different ways. And all of those ways work. Now, if we ever find that one way works better, then I think we should probably do that one way the vast majority of the time, but we just have not seen that. So I think if you have less equipment, that's even more of a reason to have some variation in how you actually perform the exercise.
Yeah, and I think for those who perhaps might be quite new to high intensity training and not understand the kind of options at their disposal, I mean, if you don't have many machines, I've been talking to my business partner about this, and with a bench and a set of dumbbells, you can do so many exercises. Also manual resistance that Lucas touched on. And so if you think about just a total number of exercises, and if you go to something like hituni.com and you purchase a course, there's a really great exercise directory you can refer to. But then if you also blend on top of that the number of variations in terms of protocol, advanced techniques, the number of exercises at your disposal to provide this novelty to your clients is extraordinary. And you really don't need many machines to be able to achieve that. So I just want to add that on to what you say, Luke, in case people are wondering, how do I, got more questions about that. Sorry, any thoughts about that at all? Or?
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. I was just thinking about, why do I feel so strongly about this? I've just heard it so many times from different customers. I was in Washington, D.C. I maybe shared this with you. This was over a year ago. And I spoke to a group in Washington, D.C. And afterwards, a woman approached me and said, well, I think I train at a place very similar to what you're talking about. And this woman said, this is the name of the business. I said, yes, I love them. They train very similar to us. They're really a great business. And she said, so do you know the owners? And I said, I do. She said, will you reach out to them and tell them I'm getting really bored? And I said, oh my goodness. And she'd been training there for like 6 months. So I just think it's important that we take some proactive steps to alleviating that boredom and creating some of the variation.
Curious why didn't she tell them that she was bored, or had she and they just not changed the workout?
Oh, Lawrence, what a brilliant question. And both of your comments are true. Is one, I don't think the customer will ever say that they're bored. I mean, our customer just leaves. And we say, I wonder why they leave, or they leave and they say they can't afford it, or they're busy. And that's not it at all. Well, it's because they're bored. It's some of the reason. I'm just convinced we rarely hear the real reason why someone leaves. So we should assume that they're bored. Our customer leaves us and they say they're busy or whatever. And then guess what I see on social media, 1 week later, I see them doing a dumbass workout at Orange Theory Fitness or something like that. So they're just not telling us that we're bored with this and we want to try something else. So we have to almost assume it. And yeah, would the business change things up if they said they were bored? I doubt it. And I can't stress enough that when I say change things up, I don't mean compromise values, compromise integrity of the exercise. I don't think we should ever compromise the integrity. We've fired clients before because when we had a woman say, hey, when I bench press, I want to bench press. I want to not bring the bar all the way down, and I want to go fast, and I want to use a lot of weight. I mean, she literally said all those things. And I said, well, we just ethically can't do that with you. And you should terminate your membership with us because we are not going to do that. Now, she basically said, I'll continue to come 2 times a week and pay full price if you let me do this, but we're never going to do that. So I'm not suggesting we should compromise the integrity of the exercise whatsoever.
Just curious, when she said that, were you given the opportunity to kind of explain why you don't permit that?
Yeah, she had been a client for a long time and she'd kind of migrated into wanting to do that. And, we had the full conversation as to why we don't do that, why we think it's the least safe exercise and the least productive exercise. I said, not only would I guarantee that we give you the worst possible fitness results, we would increase or maximize your risk of injury. And I don't want to be a part of either one of those elements. And so I don't think we should continue to move forward. And I hope that in firing her, she felt like, wow, that's a business that has great integrity. I just got fired by them, but they really, had integrity.
Was she training for like a powerlifting meet or something?
No, she wasn't. She was a unique case. I think most operators in all different businesses, I mean, I've heard Horst Schulze of the Ritz-Carlton say this, and I just think every once in a blue moon, every 4 or 5 years, one out of thousands and thousands and thousands of customer interactions, you'll come across a customer that you need to fire and not continue to try to adapt to. You should just say, we should go our separate ways. Because of course the business is not designed to serve everyone. If you're trying to give great service to everyone, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to try to serve your target customer. And if they're not behaving like your target customer, you should not continue to bend and be flexible. Like I cannot go through the McDonald's drive-through and order a taco and say, come on, you have to try to serve me and find a way to make me a taco. They're going to just say no, and they should say no.
Awesome. This was great, Luke. Thank you so much again. Just gold content from you. Best way for people to find out more about you?
Shoot me an email, luke@discoverstrength.com. Check out our website, discoverstrength.com. And, I would love it if your listeners would consider coming to the Resistance Exercise Conference. Just a great gathering of like-minded professionals, a chance to connect and learn from each other. And it's just my favorite 2 days of the year.
Yeah, likewise, probably my favorite 2 days of the year as well. And I mean, for those that are maybe hearing about this for the first time, hearing about the conference, it is, in my opinion, the best place to go to connect with high intensity training professionals, learn how to grow your business, learn about the latest science around exercise. And it's just so much fun. And I am not 100% sure if I can come next year, unfortunately, because I've got a baby due in just over a month, which is both exciting and scary. And so we are playing it by ear. And, I also need to somehow negotiate with the missus to see if that's going to be feasible and allowed. So watch this space. But, if I can't attend, then there's still going to be people far more important and interesting than me there. And all of the big names in high intensity training typically attend. So I can't support and promote it enough. But Luke, thanks again for joining me. Really, really appreciate it and look forward to talking to you again soon.
My pleasure, Lawrence. Thanks for having me.
This episode is brought to you by Barvik GmbH. Building a successful high-intensity training business requires top-quality exercise machines and a reliable source of spare parts. Sourcing Medix machines known for their exceptional design and performance can be challenging, forcing you to rely on the secondary market. Fortunately, Barvik GmbH, based in Hamburg, Germany, offers a solution. Egger Barvik manufactures German-engineered Medix machines in India with innovative enhancements compared to their US counterparts, providing an alternative to the secondary market. Eggert is 38 years in the fitness industry and has a wealth of experience. Eggert sells a bigger variety of Medix machines, 35 different types, including rowing back, shoulder rotation, neck and shoulder, super forearm, multi-exercise tower, hip and torso, flexion left and right lying, tibialis, chest press, torso arm, pullover, arm cross, and more. The machines are built higher for easy movement with a pallet jack, have zinc-plated weight plates, have flat belt with steel core instead of carbon fiber, and adjustable 90mm rubber feet. These features, including the new leg extension with adjustable big roller pads and a redesigned cam, make Barvik GmbH's Medix machines perfect for growing your hip business. So to get started, number 1, visit medix.eu/contact. Number 2, contact the team with your specific needs. And number 3, select the machines to grow your business. Visit medix.eu/contact today and give your hip business a huge boost with Medix machines by Eggert Barvik from Barvik GmbH.